What's good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the economic calendar thus far, what news just came out that's very important for the markets, and some very important levels to be watching for on Tesla, on SPY, and all these different tickers. But before I break things down all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. So anyways, let's talk about the market, what's going on thus far. Looking at SPY, I just want to call out something very important. When you go to the 4-hour time frame, you will see that we're holding the 20 EMA. When we watch and see if this support breaks or not. If we break this, we could see a bigger move to the downside. If we hold this, we could try to bounce. We have a possible head and shoulders forming on the 4-hour, but we need to be watching for this level to break. That's that 453.8 area. Once again, 453.8. We're going to be watching it very carefully. Now, for now, let's talk about some data. So I just want to remind you all that 30 minutes after the market opens, we have new home sales. New home sales month over month is all going to be coming out. We have the Fed Manufacturing Index at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, then a bunch of bill launches, which may not be that significant. So we're going to be watching this down to see how this affects the market thus far. Now, when it comes to other pieces of news affecting the markets and the way it's moving, many people are talking about how we're about to close out November. We'll be watching to see how the market ends up doing for this week. Historically, the market does have a tendency of not performing too horribly during this time, but we've been continuing to pump for quite a while. So I'm going to be very cautious, especially for this period. We'll just be patient to see how it goes, but we're about to end November this week. Moving forward, we have Cyber Monday for today. There's going to be a lot of discounts out there, so make sure you guys just have fun with your shopping if you're interested in doing that. And once again, we can see over here that the e-commerce spending is continuing to climb, and this is actually some good data for a lot of different platforms out there that are involved in this, from like Amazon to Shopify. There's more news involving global situations. We're looking at right over here this new Hunger Games movie right over here, and this is once again going to be very interesting to see. Once again, I'm going to be watching to see how this looks. This looks very interesting thus far. And on top of all of this, I just wanted to call out that there's some new things going on with ByteDance cutting hundreds of jobs. And this is once again what tends to happen during times like these. So that being said, guys, we're going to be watching to see what else is going to be happening to the markets. Right now on SPY, we're holding this support, but we have this gap right over here as well. So it is possible to kind of like pop a little bit since we have these wicks forming. It might pop to try to fill this gap just by even just a few cents. It's not going to be like that big of a gap. We have this pre-market gap that could push us back to like 455.26. But look and see if we reject or not, because we still have that possible head and shoulders like pattern. So on SPY, when you look at this setup, right, when we zoom out of the chart, you will see that we had this like rising wedge like pattern. And what could be happening is we're getting very close to like getting some kind of back test. So we're going to be watching this back test. And what I mean by that is like this. If we start pushing, like if we do get some kind of push like this, we're going to be watching this 455 resistance. If we break above that, we could technically try to like back test right here on the hourly, get one more push for like the mid 455s. But even if that's the case, that's not going to invalidate the head and shoulders, because what sometimes happens is you get a back test and you just like reject like that. So that is something that's very probable. So you want to be very careful in watching this. To turn bullish, you want to get back above basically this 456 resistance. If we break above that, we could turn bullish and start pushing up higher. If we kind of like pop a bit, we fill this gap, then reject, you want to see this thing basically break down and eventually lose 453.5 or something like that to turn bearish. And to turn really bearish, you want to lose 452. I find this move very probable, but just to be safe, right, if we get that pop and drop, for us to turn bearish, you want to see the 4-hour 20 EMA break. That's going to be a very important level to break. We want to see this break, and that's when we're going to see confirmation of that move. Anyways, that's it for SPY for now. What about Tesla? One of the things I said yesterday is that Tesla might outperform the market because we have the big event. Tesla's looking kind of strong thus far. We're currently at 237. If Tesla wants to push up higher, you want to see it test 238.5 around that range. If we break 238, This thing has the potential to push up to 242.5 or even above that. So with that being said, as Tesla's like touching these lower levels, right, between 230 and 232.5, you will see that we have like a lot of wicks right here. We touch this, we bounce, we touch this, we bounce, touch it, bounce, touch it, bounce. It's trying to base right here, and now it's trying to catapult off of this. So as it's trying to establish higher highs and higher lows, this suggests that we might see Tesla just continue to uptrend. And it's looking a bit more bullish thus far, but we need to see it break 238 to turn more bullish. In my opinion, it has more potential thanks to the Cybertruck event. I initially thought that this thing might be a little more sideways just to start us off because of the market, but it actually looks like it has a bit more potential to outperform the market. So there's going to be potential for Tesla to just try to like test 238 and possibly break that for higher levels. There's definitely potential for it. I think that the chart looks quite decent. On Nvda stock, we're going to be watching this resistance right here at this 480 area. We watch to see if Nvidia could break that. If we break 480, we're going to be looking at 482 and then 485. It's not looking that strong. It kind of popped a bit, but now it's starting to reject. So I could see it pop a little bit more. We just want to be very careful at these two resistance levels because it could always reject and make its way back down. I wouldn't necessarily say Nvidia is that strong, and there's definitely going to be potential for it to come all the way down to like 468 to 470. So with that being said, make sure you watch the levels very carefully. I apologize if there's some background noise. I think that there's like an AC that just turned on. Not an AC, but like a heater, and it's making a lot of noise near me. Don't want to worry about that. For the QQQ on the 4-hour time frame, just like SPY, we're going to be watching our 20 EMA. That's going to be that 388 area. If this breaks, we're going to be watching this push down towards 386. If that fails, let's watch 384. QQQ is looking a little weaker, but we're going to be watching to see how Aapl affects this. So make sure you watch support very carefully. Resistance watch 390. As of right now, it looks like it might sink just a little bit. And it looks like there's going to be a test of 384 if we end up losing 386. So watch support right now. QQQ is looking a bit more bearish. Let's see if it gets like a little bounce and drop. It's favoring the bears a bit more, but just to be safe, we'll be watching it. I want to be very careful. Make sure you watch that 4-hour 20 EMA. If you lose 388.8, anticipate some downside. Anyways, that's it for the main four. I think I just have to go over Aapl, and I'll be ending the video from there. Aapl stock, it's right here. It's still looking kind of weak. Still kind of sinking in the pre-market. We had 189, but one of the things I called out was 188 to be tested. It might backtest like 190 at the 20 and may then reject and make its way down to 188. So I think that's going to bounce a bit and then drop even lower towards 188. That's what I'm seeing for Aapl. Pump and drop for Aapl. I think it's going to dictate SPY and the QQQ. All right, guys, so that's it for the video. Look for a little back test of like 190. It looks like we actually technically like did it already. I could do it again, but we have this resistance on Aapl. See how this new trend line is formed, so that's going to be our resistance. We might kind of like back test 190 and reject, or maybe it's already done, and we might see this thing come back down to 188. So I anticipate some downside on Aapl, and I think that may cause the market to slow. With that being said, the market has potential for downside. Looking at all the different charts out there, Tesla, of all things, out of the main five I just talked, looks like the strongest. Looks like Tesla's going to try to see some upside. But the market's going to act as an anchor for Tesla, so it could slow it down here and there. But I still think Tesla's going to outperform, and Tesla has some potential for upside later on. All right. So that's my view of the market. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you watch your levels. Don't just turn bearish for no reason or bullish for no reason. You want to be watching your levels and seeing which levels break. And you want to be watching for rejections and etc. All right. So I hope that's as clear as possible. I thank you all so much for listening. And once again, I apologize if there's any like background noise because of this thing right here. I'll see you guys very soon. This was just a pre-market update video, and I'll be back in a couple of hours for the next one. Thanks again, and peace out.